Okay, we are live. Thank you very much. I am Joker from Players Wanted. With me is Yordi from Assault and Battery Airsoft and Josh Warden from MILSIM West. So we're here to talk about some cool stuff. First thing we're going to do is talk about the little controversy that Josh started with the flag ceremonies at Wilson West. But before we get to all that, I have one question I want to ask both of you guys. Marcellus Wallace, does he look like a bitch?
No.
All right. So, how's everybody doing tonight?
Doing good, bud. How about yourself?
I'm doing great. How about you, Josh?
I'm good. My name's actually Warren, and I work for MILSIM West and Desert Fox Events.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No worries.
Here, Josh, introduce yourself.
Oh, I just did. That was it.
I thought I said Warren. What did I say? Warden?
Warden, yeah. Like a prison
sorry.
warden.
Yeah.
Whereas like a warren is like a rabbit hole.
All right. Josh, you like to start some controversy every now and then. It seems like by every now I mean every single day.
I mean, I wish I had that much material, but it's something I'd been thinking about for a while. I told a couple friends I was going to do it a couple days ago. Somebody gave me the idea for the collage, which really helped. You know, you add something visual to the post. Like I personally could just read text, but I get it. Yeah, so I mean, I'll just come out and say it. Like I think I'm fully self-aware of the job that I do, as I told you guys before we started, and there's a particular brand of airsoft that I think is truly MILSIM. So everyone is going to have their own opinion. You know, I'm just not going to be convinced. And it's not like anybody's running for MILSIM president and anyone's going to get forced to like do shit they don't want to do. But for me, the flag ceremonies are just, it's something that's like, we're doing something that's so ridiculous anyway. And I've always thought it's kind of weird that like just sporting events in general, man, I think it's weird that people think that's patriotic. Like I'm not a sports fan. I think actually sports fandom is a sign of repressed deviant sexuality, but you know, everyone can think whatever they want. That's fine. You know, you're entitled to watch sports or whatever, but I think it's a little kinky and weird, to be honest. And for me, like when the national anthem plays at a baseball game, I'm just like, I guess I don't know what's patriotic about that. Bombing the fuck out of people is patriotic, you know, like that. Play the national anthem for that shit. That's what we do good around here. But like dudes in fucking tight pants, like bats, balls. Come on, man. Like, what are you? Who are you really trying to fool, sports fans? Anyway,
I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, you're welcome. Don't even get me started on dog owners because this isn't about that. But
no. Fuck you, you're gone.
Hey, man, I mean, you can be mad about it. I just had a dog in my house last night, in fact. Brian Clarkson, my partner, was just here. So I'm actually a little hungover, but still. But yeah, he brought his dog over. It's not even, I like to have contrary opinions. But on the flag ceremony thing, for me, it's like, part of the reason I do super hardcore events is because the casual shit bugs me because it's just like, oh, you're trying to be all fucking MILSIM, but you want to go back to your hotel and have a fucking snacky snack after. Like, I want to see people fucking suffer. I want to see rain. I want to see pain. I want to see people carry shit because that's the real fucking juice. Like, I've been in this hobby basically since I was 6 years old in one way or another in the playing war hobby. I started out as a reenactor. I got into paintball. I got into airsoft after I got out of the military. And ever after I got out of the military, anytime I was like at a reenactment, paintball game, airsoft game, at some point, somebody would be like, hey, man, what's it really like? And I couldn't, like, it took me a while to figure out a good answer to that. And then the answer is, well, it'd be like if we were doing this, but for 3 fucking days straight in the rain, in the mud, with like only what we could carry, getting, you know, sometimes contradictory and confusing orders, like being phenomenally miserable and bored for 7 hours for 30 minutes of brief excitement. That'd be like 10%. You know what I mean? Then we'd be kind of close to the, you know, the bad experience, in my opinion. That's my opinion based on my experience. And so I already think that it's kind of bullshit to do like a cathartic, you know, whatever you want. The sponsors are all here to fucking lick your balls in the parking lot or whatever. You know, that like that's boring. Everybody does that. Anybody can put on that kind of game. I'm not interested in that shit. So for me, the flag ceremony is just like, wait a minute. You don't want to eat ass in the mud. You don't want to stay up. You don't want to hump a rock, right? You don't want to do any of that shit. Like, have to pull security, have to be the fucking left side security element on an ambush, have to be the recon element on a raid. You don't want to have to do any of that shit. And then you just want to like stand up there. Like, I don't even fucking wear Ranger t-shirts because I'm too fat now. Do you get what I mean? Like, now there's some dudes that doesn't stop them, but for me, it's like I have the pride and service to not do that. Do you get what I mean? Like, I don't want my unit to be associated with the like scrubby Jewish entertainment producer that I am now. Do you get what I mean? Like,
yeah,
I'm literally.
I want to stop you right now, and I want to go back. Hey, man, stop insulting sports ball, okay? Just stop. It's sports ball. Leave sports ball out of this, and leave the dogs out of it.
I haven't given you my opinion on dog owners yet. But
First of all,
I'll say it does have to do with how affectionate they are in public.
well,
About like if they're like pretty much tonguing their dog.
I mean, we can only imagine what's happening in private. But let's stay focused on the flag ceremony.
All right, so I think we have a pretty good grasp of what you're meaning, what you're saying with the flag ceremony. So
I'm not telling people. It's just like, for me, I'm not the kind of person that puts a huge American flag on my shit. I don't need to. Do you get what I mean? Like, you will know I am patriotic by the way that I behave.
Yeah.
That will show you, right? Like, so that's just me. I don't wear Ranger apparel. I don't wear veteran apparel. It's just not my style. Personally, I guess part of my journey from like getting out of the Army to where I am now is I almost go the opposite way that most people went. And that's because it took me so long to divorce myself from being in Ranger Regiment, which is a fucking head trip all by itself.
Yeah, on that I agree with you, because I remember, and I'm going back to 2006. I remember my first sergeant. He told me, you're a Marine. You don't have to show off to everybody that you're a Marine. You earned it. And he taught us to, why are you going to show the enemy or the bad guy who you are? Because you're going to put yourself as a target. So I was always one of those, I never really wore Marine Corps apparel and stuff like that, even though I got it all in my closet and Army stuff.
Yeah, but it's not hard to figure out who Marines are anyway. I mean, that's my experience working with Marines.
Well, yeah, I do walk around with a red crayon every now and then.
I think personally, like, as cadre go, Marines are some of the best. Like, so for me, Rangers are 50-50, because it's like some of them just never figured out how to be regular people again. And then the other half, maybe they're too intense and they don't like it. It's hard to say. Like, Rangers go either way. They're either deviant criminals or, sort of well-adjusted people. But Marines, like, maintain that military bearing and that attitude in a way that I feel like other branches don't.
Yeah. But going back to the flag ceremony thing.
Yeah.
Honestly, even though I'm a veteran, and prior, I don't even salute when I go to MILSIM events, because I'm not in proper uniform.
Right, that's how I feel about it too. That's also, I mean, like, I also feel that way. It's kind of the same reason I don't wear Ranger PTs or like, Ranger Moto shirts around anymore, because it's like I'm too fat to be in the proper uniform, basically. So it's like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just, yeah, like I understand why people want to do it, and it's like, if I become president of Airsoft tomorrow, I'm not going to like send out death squads to stop people from doing flag ceremonies or some shit.
Yeah.
But it's just like, I feel like the dudes who want to salute the flag in front of all their civilian friends, like, maybe actually weren't that hot shit in the service. That's just my feeling, because I don't want to salute at a baseball game. Like, I put my hand over my heart at a baseball game just because I don't want to be disrespect. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to be disrespectful, but I don't want to mark myself out from the crowd in that way either.
So
like,
you're one of those guys that don't like free shit.
I definitely don't like free shit. I mean, personally, like, it probably has to do with my experience in the Army, because it's like, nobody in fucking Ranger Regiment has the attitude, oh yeah, well, I tried my best. Oh, well, I got to clock out anyway. It's like that kind of attitude doesn't fly. So the idea that, like, you got to buy your own fucking PTs in Ranger Regiment. You know what I mean? Or at least when I got there. I don't think it's like that now, because they stopped giving them like the specific unit.
Yeah, I don't know about the Rangers, but I know as a 31 Bravo, when I was in the on your side of the branch, I can't believe I actually signed up in the Army. Yeah.
Yeah, but the benefits end up being better. I knew this dude in my I was in the reserves after I got off active duty, and there was this sergeant first class there who it was actually a reserve drill sergeant unit. So he'd been a DI in the Marine Corps, and then got off active duty. But yeah, see, everybody wanted to be in this unit because it was non-deployable, and they were recalling people. It was deployable, but they deployed you to basic training.
All I know that right now, the Army, National Guard, reserve-wise, I don't know about active duty on that side, but I know reserve-wise, they hand out PT gear like it's candy. I mean, I wasn't even in for 6 months, and I have like literally 9-10 sets of PT gear and the sweatpants and the rain jacket. I mean, you name it. I mean,
right.
Hey, Yordi, yes sir, or yes sergeant, here you go. And I was like, I just got this 2 weeks ago. It's like, well, you got some more. And boots.
Yes, there's a lot. The Army definitely has more resources, and I imagine that's why that dude swapped. I mean, to me, I thought he was trying to basically retire out of the Army instead of the Marine Corps.
It's a lot. Well, I don't know. I know. I was a 0352 infantry anti-tank missileman in the Marine Corps.
Okay. Yeah, I know what that is.
And it's very hard to move up in rank on the infantry side.
In that specific, but the Marine Corps is crazy because
you have
all
MOS,
these you got all these specific MOSs for everything, whereas like the Army basically, if you're in the infantry, it's just like, you're either
you just do or you do what's that online course? That online stuff that you guys got to do, those classes you got to do.
I don't do that. I never did that shit.
What do they call 8,000 series or whatever? Oh, you got to go to BLC, basic leadership course.
BLC you gotta, but I've never seen.
Yeah, there's BLC and W. There's basic, and then there's Warrior if you want to be a staff NCO or an NCO or some shit like that.
Well, it's WLC now, but it used to be BLC.
Right.
In chat, Viper said he's currently in the Army right now, and he has to buy they have to buy their own uniforms after basic training.
Is he active duty though?
Yeah, he's active duty.
That's why.
That sucks.
All right. So we can get off the subject of the flag thing. My particular stance on it, and I think there's another person that commented, at least in my chat, about it. I think there's two sides to the whole thing. Like, I think I said it like as a lighthearted comment in that whole string.
Bullshit.
Where I said, I started lighthearted and then I went deep. That
he said deep.
I went in deep, like a colonoscopy exam.
Yikes.
So, at a MILSIM event, people are going for full military simulation. Some of them want that immersion. Others are probably just seeing the guy next to them sitting there saluting the flag, and then it's like, oh, I got to do that too, or something like that. It's like, me personally, I won't salute the flag. I was only in the Army for a day, but that's because I fell off the damn plane. And I was medicaled out. So I don't salute. I just put the hand over my heart.
Did you fall off the plane like Dumb and Dumber, like on that part of the movie?
I did not. I don't remember that part of the movie.
Like the plane to basic, or like how'd you only make it one day?
Yeah. When we flew from MEPS, when we landed at Fort Benning, they had put 2 ramps up on each side, or wherever the place was that we landed to go to Fort Benning. They put 2 of those stupid walking things up, and the side I got out of, they didn't lock the brakes on the thing. So as soon as I stepped on it, it moved. They said, don't move. I froze. The guy behind me lifted his rucksack, hit me with the rucksack, and I went from the top, middle, bottom, just bump, 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 and then tore my knee open. And I was given a medical at that point. It also probably saved my life because my unit had a 7% casualty rate in Iraq. So because we were a medical, I was going to be a 96 Charlie, a nurse. So I was only in for 1 day, but regardless of the fact that I'm technically deemed a veteran, I don't do any of this stuff like that because I actually never really served a day. The other part of it is like I see so many people now being unpatriotic. Encouraging patriotism, I think, is something that we all should do, especially for like the younger generation. Like my daughter, she sometimes really doesn't get it. Why we salute the flag and all that.
I mean, I totally agree with you, man. Patriotism should be encouraged, but we can do it without cheesy ass fucking formations where everybody stands around and pretends they're a goddamn war hero.
Here's what my take on it. If tomorrow, if somebody was to say, hey, we're going to limit the flag ceremony to bow your heads and that's it, like instead of the national anthem, like a pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, blah, 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 period. Because I really wish that we can utilize that time to get ready.
Well, not to fucking plug my own shit here, but if you come to a MILSIM West event, you're too busy doing PCCs, briefing the op board. Like you're going through a whole leader's rock drill, right? Everybody's doing their like collective task training, right? Like your team leaders, squad leaders, and below are all doing that shit. So not to toot my own horn or anything, but if you got a really locked on program, it's like we're so busy trying to get everybody for quote unquote like the deployment phase, right? That we don't have time to like. I do a safety brief. That's it. Do you know what I mean?
So
I come out there.
let me ask you something. Do you think that some MILSIM events companies, they do the flag ceremony? Because remember, we're paying to go to this event. Whether it be 120, 135, 165, $45, whatever.
Yes, for sure.
So do you believe that they implement that in order to cut time, less play time, so that means they make money faster? You see what I'm saying?
No, there's no incentive there, man. Because you're paying the same rate anyway. The staff are already there. Do you get what I mean? It's like it's not. There's no venue that I'm aware of that charges by. Well, actually, that's a lie. There's one venue that Hey, give me 1 second, guys. Yeah. 1 second.
Ooh, there's one venue.
Personally, I don't think that. To answer your question, I don't think that's true either. I think it's some of them. It's for.
Okay. Hey, thanks a lot.
Oh, his food's there.
Yeah. Shit, he was dead on. He said 45 minutes. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Hey, sorry about that, guys. As I said, like the real hunter-gatherer I am, I was having food delivered. So no, there's only one venue that I know of that charges by the hour. It's an aircraft carrier in Oakland, California.
The one that Jet played on, right?
Yeah, I actually staffed that game along with Derek Ronconio. So the guy who ran it is my buddy Derek Ronconio. He is a longtime member of the Russians. He's actually one of the first probies we ever hazed in, like 7 years ago. And he got this aircraft carrier, and he did a pretty wild game on it. And whenever this Corona crisis is over, I know that he and MILSIM West are going to put on a special event there, like a tactical challenge over a series of evenings. So, yeah. But what I'm getting at is, I don't think there's no incentive to like shorten play time in that way, you know?
I agree with you. I think some of the ones I can tell you right now is that there's been a couple events that Jordy and I have been to where we've had to sit through some briefings where it's like, Jesus, can we please get on the field? And the thing that sucks for some is that, like, I was on special forces for the event, and we had to be at the FOB because we started in advance of everybody. But because the safety brief overran, we all of a sudden now had to hightail it and get out there. So it's like, oh, geez, that's why I always like getting there the day before. Get chrono.
I mean, again, I'm not trying to toot my own horn, but if you can't get a safety brief done in 10 minutes or less, you suck as a host. No offense.
Hey,
like I will tell you this. I give the best safety brief in airsoft. Swear to God. People fucking applaud and cheer at the end of this. I'm not even lying. Part of my spiel is I always say, don't applaud. I'm just doing my job. You don't clap for a safety brief, because they do every fucking time. They laugh, they cry. I make them raise their right hand and say a bunch of fucking silly bullshit, like they're getting indoctrinated into a cult. I swear to God. And it A, helps everybody remember that we're doing something really stupid and kinky, and B, helps them remember that, like, if they fucking fall off the side of a building in the fake war, they're going to be a wounded warrior at work on Monday, and I'm not covering that. And that's you see what I'm saying? Like, part of it is people want to give these safety briefs like the big army, the big military does, and like, you know, there just aren't a lot of people in the business that have a military mindset and B, a special mission unit mindset.
Real quick about MILSIM West. So for us Floridians,
hold on. Before we go into that, Brian Crochet had asked a question that I think needs to be asked, particularly before we go into the MILSIM West thing. Can you talk about how non-military people can get educated and feel like we're being part of the MILSIM life? And I think that goes right into
go to MILSIM West. Yeah, like if you want to have an experience like you're in a combat infantry unit in an FTX, go to a MILSIM West game, because that's what it is. If you want to go to an airsoft game that has like a military theme, that has play periods of 6 to 10 hours, you know, that has a customer base with, you know, widely ranging abilities, then go to something else. You know what I mean? Like, that's fine. I personally wouldn't, like, as a player now, my interest is more casual. just because I've been in it for so long. Like when I started MILSIM West with the dudes I started it with, like that was the kind of game that I preferred to play. But now I prefer arena play, just personally, right? But if you want something that is, because basically every game is trying to be more MILSIM. That's my opinion. All these casual format games are trying to be more MILSIM, but everybody's kind of married to the. I mean, that's great. I hope that continues. I hope everybody continues to produce very like safe bet casual games with lots of dinner and lunch breaks. I mean, hell, I produce safe bet casual games, except I've got a custom app that helps you see what's going on the whole time, so we don't have to rely on people who are mediocre leaders at best to explain it to you.
All right. So MILSIM West. So for us that never gone to a MILSIM West event,
Sure.
I've been seeing a lot of different YouTube channels. Everybody has their different takes, but you being the co-founder, you being in the shit, what do you recommend for us rookies for MILSIM West to bring?
Well, there's a packing list in the tax op. It's got all the required items in red, and then everything that's like recommended as well in regular colors. We do an inspection before the game for all the red letter items, just because it's like a health and safety thing.
Right.
Like obviously you have to have iPro, but obviously you have to have a sleeping bag, sufficient layers, water, food, a raincoat, that kind of shit. I mean, this is probably no shock to you at all.
No.
I'm sure yeah, exactly. So for you, actually what you should do as a first timer at MILSIM West is come and be the squad leader for your friends, because you know they're going to be all jacked up. You know, like, I mean, that's really what it is. It's like pretty much an FTX. You got to have a ruck. You got to have a 48-hour ruck. I mean, we provide water. That's the main thing, is like you need to come with your first 1 day's supply, your first 4 liters or whatever of water. But then we have like big 400-gallon bladders everywhere.
Right.
So
now, this comes to my next question, Joker. Would you like to please tell your plan?
All right. We're actually building we'll be building a battle bus later on this year when this stuff dies down. We're going to be getting one of the cheese wagons, one of the school buses that we're going to get on auction. We're going to gut the interior of it, and then we're going to put 2 turrets up top, 6 gun ports on each side, racks on the side. We're even going to have a toilet, which also has a port so you can shoot out while you're taking a shit. So in that case, it would be one massive technical. Was that something that would be acceptable at MILSIM West event?
No. I mean, we barely allow technicals as it is because they fucking suck, and they're just like weird tanks. If you want to play with like weird oblong paintball tanks, I guess that's fine. But the only thing that we really allow, I mean, we'll allow technicals in the context of like militia, but they usually have to call hits from small arms, because it's kind of ridiculous that like people are driving a fucking Hilux pickup up to the point of contact, jumping out, taking cover. There's fucking 15 guys taking cover behind essentially an aluminum pickup truck. Like, yeah, it's fucking ridiculous. So we usually try and limit that, just because it's like, vehicles can be very unsafe, especially at night. The amount of times I have to tell vehicle drivers that I've already told once that they're not allowed to drive under IR. But like, hey, every asshole who can afford a Humvee knows how to drive a Humvee under IR, right? Especially in a simulated combat situation, because no one's ever actually died in an actual war from some jackass sucking at driving a Humvee under NODs, right? Like, honestly, I actually think the whole truck culture shit, like people talk shit about the blank fire at MILSIM West. I'm like, what about this fucking Mad Max War Wagon shit? Like, no, so what happens when like a fucking one truck full of fucking fat middle-aged dudes having a crisis crashes into another one? It's going to be horrible.
At least
MILSIM is fucked. There'll be blood everywhere.
At least it's not an ASV. I seen horrors on an ASV.
I don't even know what that is.
It's a new. They're trying to replace the Humvee with a ASV. It has a Mark 19 and a 240 Bravo mounted on it. It's pretty badass.
Yeah.
So the battle bus intention was never to move. It's just because I am old, soft, fat, and I don't like sleeping on the ground.
Oh, well, I mean, MILSIM West is definitely not for you, man.
Don't tell me what to do.
Such a loser.
Hey, look, now you want to do it. Look at.
No, actually, the reason why like this thing really spiked up, I should read the message of what showed up in our WhatsApp chat from somebody that said, fuck this guy, we're never going to a MILSIM West ever. I wanted to go, no, fuck that guy.
I mean,
that was me, right?
Yeah, that was you. And I don't know if Preacher's watching.
Oh, Preacher's definitely watching.
Preacher's that was Mike Patton. You got him right pissed off too.
That was
You guys want me to masturbate or something?
That was
getting me kind of wet.
So it's like because look, I do roughly 20 events a year, so I go all over the place. Between this and my board game company, I usually do about 40 events a year total, either between Comic Cons or here. Like I sort of told you offline, it's like I'm in two very opposing political industries. Board games very liberal, airsoft somewhat conservative. So it's I want to do a MILSIM West. It's just one of those things of I'm old, fat, get cranky.
And another reason why a lot of us don't go to haven't gone to MILSIM West is because we're still on the fence about traveling with our flying with our AEGs or bolt action snipers, stuff like that. I don't know if you can give us any pointers on that.
Sure. So if I am flying domestically in the United States, I take my airsoft gun, I take the battery out, and I put it in my fucking ruck. And then I fly with it, and I don't say shit to the lady at the counter. And maybe out of the hundreds of times I've flown with it in the U.S., one time some guy in Fresno tried to make a big deal about it, made himself look like an asshole. If I'm flying internationally, I'll put it in a gun case and usually print out documentation regarding airsoft guns in that country. And if I don't speak the language, I'll try and read a couple key phrases before I arrive relating specifically to that. I mean, that's it, man. I've had a lot of different shit happen. I've had good results. I've had bad results. The worst thing that ever happened is Mexican Customs in Guadalajara confiscated my gun for about 4 months, but they did give it back to me, and I didn't even have to pay them any money. It just took time.
Don't get me started with Mexico, dude. Ugh.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it was like that was hairy. That was this last event we just did, and like Mexican Customs is basically a law unto itself.
Mm-hmm.
And the airport in Guadalajara late at night decided. This guy he straight up is the only time anyone's ever asked me for a bribe in Mexico. Like, people say all this negative shit about Mexico. Okay, whatever. The only time anyone's asking me for a bribe is this guy, this one time. And I've had problems just because people didn't know what the fuck it was, like in Panama. Like, I had a layover to get to Chile and Panama, and the fucking chief of airport police came down there. But I do the same gambit I do with everybody, where I'm like, hey, sir, are you a professional with weapons? Of course you are. Great. If you are a professional with weapons, it will be very easy for you to tell that this is a toy. Go ahead. You see what I mean? So it's like...
I know Panama is very strict.
To be honest, they were not that strict at all. In fact, by the time... I got some great language practice in, and by the time that I left... I actually have a cool picture of me shaking hands with those dudes, and then I was giving them the MSW Venezuelan faction patches from the Mexico game I was just leaving. Like, they were super into it, man. And they were actually just jazzed to, like... talk to a dude who'd been in the American military.
Oh, Panama was strict with me. They thought I was a terrorist. Same thing with Puerto Rico. They had me waiting.
Really?
6 hours, dude. I had to call my unit and everything in order for them to release me.
Were you flying with an airsoft gun?
No gun at all whatsoever.
Well, maybe
it's because of my name. Apparently there's a terrorist out there with my name, and they think it's this guy.
Yeah, I mean, look, man, like they're not firearms. Yeah. Okay. Hey, I got to wrap this up in about 15 minutes, guys.
Yeah,
I mean, here in the U.S., you can do it like it's a real firearm. Some people feel more comfortable that way. I don't. I've never had a problem. They're not a gun. You know what I mean? There's no requirement to case them up like they are a gun. So I just don't do it. I'm not paying. Good. Like, if I can avoid it, if I don't have to bring extra guns for cadre, I don't want to have to pay for an extra bag. I'm not trying to bring my ruck and a fucking gun.
What about BBs? BBs allowed in the ruck?
Yeah. Okay. You just don't have them loaded in the mags in case they're concerned.
So just in other words, no green gas. Green gas we purchase over.
Yeah, green gas is the only thing, and then like gas blowbacks or air-powered guns in some countries are not allowed. But I mean, we smuggled fucking 450,000 rounds worth of Elite Force BBs into Chile in 500 round dime bags, because at MILSIM West you get your ammunition issued, so It's always broken down into 500 round dime bags. And They stopped us for sure, and like me and Pedro had to do some talking with customs. But after they figured out it wasn't cocaine, they were like, all right. Like as soon as they were like, oh, there's fucking plastic balls for a game. All right, nerds, carry on. Like basically anywhere anyone figures out what airsoft is, like once they figure it out, they're like, oh, whatever, nerds, proceed.
So Viper Airsoft said he was so ready for
Saratov Insurgency. Damn, Rona.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty bummed too, man. Obviously, I would prefer to be working right now than not working, but
yeah, this thing I knew about this back in December because I went to go get a game manufacturer, and all of a sudden, the factory's like, "We're shut down." Contact another factory. We're shut down. After 4 factories, I realized there's something definitely wrong in China right now. What the hell's going on? And then a week and a half later, they announced that the mysterious respiratory disease is going on. And then, for them to cancel Chinese New Year, you knew there's a problem. And then we still even haven't seen the shortages from the factories being shut down back in January and February. We're not going to feel that for another couple of months. So,
yeah, I mean, I'm a little bit of a weird prepper myself, and I was watching this from pretty early on. So, I mean, I'm hoping that we get to have some 2020 season still. Obviously, none of us know the answer to that right now. So all we can do is argue on the internet about whether or not we should salute a flag before an airsoft sport game.
So we're not going to go back into that, but
why not?
Shut up. One of the key things that I think that Jordan and I have, when are you guys going to be coming back down to, like, say, Florida?
I'm not sure. I'd really like to go to the old Altair site now, the Counterterrorism Advanced Training Center. I've talked with Cliff there, I believe, who's like the owner. I mean, it sounds like they've done a lot of work to it to make it nice again. I have an idea specifically for that facility. I have an event, like a specific event format that I want to run in mind for that, but
please,
I just don't.
December.
I just don't know right now. The problem is that place is like really locked down in terms of the Florida community. There is, very regular. There's 2 games there regularly, if I recall.
No, there was so there's one game that's probably going to only go on in December, and we just hope that there's not another conflict. I know that
the last game that went on over there was back in 2018, and that was Overwatch 5.
Yeah.
Okay. That was essentially what I was following down there. But I mean, I would really like to do it. I would say that the facility is probably more expensive now than it was in 2018. Just a guess. But the quote that I got was relatively on the high side. And for me, it's like it's the
11,000 acres.
For what now?
They have like 11,000 acres there.
Yeah, I mean, I've done events on 50,000 or larger, but it's not about that. It's just about the population of Florida versus the cost. So whenever I select venues, I rate them on 3 numbers. The most important number is the number of 1.5 million or greater population density centers within 6 hours driving distance.
I don't think you're gonna have that issue, dude, because
no. So there's a pretty high population in Florida, yes, but it's a peninsula, so it means you only draw from the population centers immediately there. Do you get what I'm saying? So it's like the high cost plus the relatively low population score, in the sense that it is a high population, but 6 hours. If you're doing a South Central Florida event, 6 hours from that is basically northern Florida, correct?
You're pretty much out of Florida.
You're out of, yeah.
You're
but like southern Georgia, right?
Yeah. But so to give you a little bit of, if you want some more like insights for down here, you have Tampa, Orlando, Jacksonville,
Tallahassee, Broward, Dade,
Palm Beach County, which is one of the, I think the largest county or the second largest county in Florida.
No, Dade is the largest county.
No, Dade is.
Broward's second, Palm Beach is third.
So
but,
just
no. I get it. What I mean is, if you draw a circle around the place, there's a lot of water. Whereas if you draw a circle around something like, say, West Virginia, there's like 15 cities. Do you see what I'm getting at?
Yeah. The insight I was also going to give you is that the airsoft community down here is thirsting for something besides the Doomsday events, something besides like Mir was going to come down and take over the Altair Center, and I don't think that worked out well for him at all. I think the contracts were still being signed at the time. From one of the reports that we heard is that contracts are still being signed 1 month out. So you have a lot of people that are down here. The only reason why I'm asking is because we're trying to draw more events down here, and
I definitely want to do an event at that venue. You know what I mean?
February, March would be awesome because it's so much cooler outside, but it's everywhere else it's frozen.
Yeah, I mean that's how we try and work it anyway. Like we actually don't do events in the high summer at all, just to avoid the heat casualty thing. But I mean, with luck, we'll be all done with this by fall, and hopefully, I can put something together. But it's hard to say when I'm like right now. I just need to make sure that I deliver for my customers who have already paid me for 3 events that have not yet happened. Yeah. So that's kind of my number one priority at this point, is making sure that, I follow through with everybody that doesn't want a refund. You know what I mean? Like, just wants to wait for it to all be over. Literally no one has asked for a refund at all. So, I honestly feel pretty fortunate to have this awesome job and like be this supported by a customer base, what's the worst I got to do in the apocalypse? Sit at home, play video games, and wait to turn the MILSIM tap back on, basically.
Yeah. And what is your thoughts on the fields that are violating stay-at-home orders right now, saying that they're an essential service?
Yeah, I would not do that. It doesn't seem like the juice is worth the squeeze to me. I know people that I like that do that. I wish they didn't, but it's just not that fucking hard to stay home, man. It
isn't.
No, it's really not. It's not like the army's out in the street, like telling me that I can't even step outside my house, right? It's like, there's a fucking pandemic, right? It's not rocket science. It's not a 5G conspiracy. Like, just, it's not that hard. We have everything we need. Like, all we have to do is hang. Like, everybody who's like, this is the moment to rise up. We got to fucking fight the system right now. It's like one of two things is going on there. Either this is the time to spill blood in the streets for our essential freedoms, and you're a bitch, and you're just posting about it on the internet, and you're not fucking doing dick all, or you're fucking stupid, and it's not that time. Those are the two options.
I don't think it's that time right now, honestly, at all.
No, man, it's fuck, dude. I'm so happy that I'm not in Chile right now.
I'm happy that I'm not in Venezuela right now.
Right, dude. That's what I'm saying. Like, and half the people I know in Mexico right now are like, nah, it'll be fine, dude. Why haven't you opened sales for the game in December? And I'm like, well, I don't think you're going to want to give me a bunch of money for a game ticket in like 2 weeks. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, well, brother.
Because I've been called like a narc multiple times now because I see a few fields that are opening and staying open, and I was like, look, you're going to be reported. And they're like, why are you going to write us out? It's like, because I want to play airsoft, and idiots like you that keep opening your field are drawing people from down here to your field, and people are going to get sick. And what happens when somebody dies? You lose your livelihood and possibly your freedom, because if you stay open during this, it's stupid.
It's just not worth it to me. It actually, circling back to the flag thing, because I got to sign off here, but I would say, circling back to that, it's like this. Airsoft is enjoyable and frivolous. That's fine. Frivolous things are cool. We enjoy them. That's the spice, the juice in life, the sugar on the fucking coffee, right? It's not a life and death situation. It's not worth risking lives for something frivolous, no matter how easy. Similarly, for me, most of the times that I participated in formal DNC in the Ranger Regiment, where we stood in formation and saluted a flag while something played, was when people died. Like, we didn't actually go outside for colors that much. Do you get what I mean? Like, we were done with PT by the time Reveille was being done.
Oh, I was running into the barracks.
Yeah, right. You know exactly what I'm talking about. So for me, it's like the times I remember doing it the most was people that I knew who were my friends that died that I watched. So it's like, so then I'm watching dudes do it where it's like, motherfucker, you just want the recognition, right? Like here's an example. MILSIM West, we don't give you a patch until you finish. You get your patch at the end, not when you show up.
Nice. Very nice.
You see what I'm saying? Yeah. And that can mean more, right? Like, that can mean more than letting someone salute the flag. Like, forget about that. This is about your development, not your patriotism.
To get on. So, in closing, because I know you have to go, so I want all the viewers and everybody in the future that's going to be watching this video, this stream, just know that Josh He's not a Nazi. He's not a communist.
No, I'm definitely not. Yeah, look, I am
All
like
right.
I'm
So
bar mitzvah Jew.
we talk. I talk to you. I talk to you personally. You talk to Joker. So we want all our viewers and everybody in the future is gonna watch this. Like, Josh is he just playing with the Hornets just to get people involved. All right. Poke the bear. That's all he's doing. He doesn't mean that, but I do understand his point of view, and I also understand everybody how it looks in a bad way. But just everybody, just chill out, relax.
No, don't chill out. If you're mad, I want you to be mad, motherfucker. Come to MILSIM West.
So much for putting fire here. Let me put some more wood in there.
Yeah, if you don't go to MILSIM West, you're a coward. That's all it is.
Yeah, I don't think there's a lot of people are ready for that yet.
So let me ask you a question, right? So say somebody like me who sometimes needs to take off the field, to eat because our blood sugars and shit are dropping. What happens when they go off the field?
Oh, you get the silver bullet, bro.
Yeah, no, you leave the game. That's it.
And you get the silver bullet.
If you leave the field, the game's over for you.
All right. In a somewhat serious question, because I mean, this is good information for anybody going to a MILSIM West event. Is there any sort of exceptions for that rule if they have to go off the field? Like
I mean, people are allowed to go and get things they need by cadre, but it's like you got to go ask them. You don't just fucking leave whenever you want to. Do you get what I mean? Yeah. And typically we try and bring it out to them because it's like part of the game is endurance. So if you get to go have a break, it's like not fair to the other team that's out there eating ass in 20-degree weather. You know what I mean? Like people, basically what happens is people start fucking malingering and trying to hang out and like make it because people don't want to bitch out and not get their patch at the end, right? So then people start finding reasons to be hanging out. If there's an admin shack, to be hanging out in that admin shack. Like,
gotcha.
It's the same way. How it is. Same way it is in the military. Yeah. It's like, why are there fucking 17 people like with sprained ankles in this fucking admin shack other than it has a heater?
Out of sight, out of mind.
It's like, all right, look, like either your wives are coming to get you or you're going back into the game. Those are the only options.
And then it's not another question that. Crap, I just lost.
Anyways, if you want to salute the flag, salute the flag. I don't give a shit.
Yeah. If you want to do it. I'm gonna make fun of you on the internet. It shouldn't make you that upset. If it does, it's because you haven't been to MILSIM West yet.
This was another question I got that somebody sent over.
Do you have to wear your iPro while you're sleeping?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I'll put it to you like this: the rule is you have to wear it while you sleep. I have my own technique for how I keep my iPro and my eyes safe while I sleep, but you understand what I'm saying? Like. Yeah. It is your responsibility to make sure you are eye safe, right? So, however you achieve that. Some people do it with a bug net. You know what I mean? Some people do it with a bivy shelter. Everybody has their own technique. The best thing to do is if you are getting shot in your sleeping bag, just stay in the fucking sleeping bag.
Okay, and then the last question that we have on that, you guys have it up on your site where all the requirements are for stuff for MILSIM West, what you need, right?
Yeah, we do. If you go on the site and you look at the tax op, it's got all the rules, the packing list, how the game works, everything you need to know about the entire MILSIM West style of play in English and in Spanish.
All right, excellent. All right, well, thank you very much for your time.
Glad you came on here, Josh. It was great talking with you. So, in short, everybody salute the flag all times right in front of Josh.
Yeah. Now, if I do go to a MILSIM West, I'm gonna make it a point. I'm gonna make it a point.
I mean, I would love to see that.
I
would take a picture with that.
I'll do it the right way, the British way, the other way.
Josh is gonna come out of like 0500 and see like a whole bunch of us standing there saluting the flag. He's like, "What the is going on?"
Dude, I'll even say I'll pledge allegiance.
Wait, saluting with one hand, flip it off with the other.
To Josh of MILSIM West of America. I'll come up with something.
I'd be down with that. Well. We do a pledge at the beginning of the game.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, it's the pledge of the reasonable airsofter.
Nice. Well, thanks for joining us, dude.
All right, man. Thanks, guys.
Appreciate it.
Enjoy your dinner, dude.
Yeah, take it easy, dudes.
So, in closing, I am Joker from Players Wanted. We got Battery from Assault and Battery Airsoft, Joshua Warren from MILSIM West and Desert Fox Events. Thank you all for tuning in. If you have any other questions, we'll get you offline. Have a great night. Until next time, we'll see you out on the field.
Yep. Take care, guys.
Sweet. Nice.
Yeah. my live stream didn't work.